It's like you'd never know I put a panel in there, except for all the hammer marks and odd bends. Welcome to the 18th episode of the Chambler build series. I'm going to go ahead and put that lower piece in the passenger rocker. I'm going to form it first, get it all adjusted, clean the area up, prep it, and slap the sucker in. So without further ado, let's get to it. Got my bending rig set up again. It's a little different than it was last time. I'll try to go over some of the finer points in case I didn't explain it enough in the first video that I used this type of setup. So I have the metal pushed up. I have it marked on this line. I'm going to be folding it over down against this edge. This is a little flatter material than the tubing. All these clamps are in position to both hold the material and the forming rig. The 4x4 is just there for weight so that as I hit it, it's not just bouncing around. Let's get to it. Hopefully this goes as smoothly as the last time did. We'll see you in a couple minutes. You can't form a piece like this by hand quickly. You got to keep hitting it over a little bit at a time, a little bit at a time, on a switch between different hammers to get a better, flatter surface. Keep going. I like it. It's got a nice consistent rollover edge. I'm gonna go ahead and lift it up, turn it over, and get it ready for the next bend, and I'll bring you back for that one. I pulled it out of the form and I realized I don't think I showed you too much of in process before, so she's pretty darn straight. It's got a good finish, for what I did anyway, at least. And the edge is consistent. I'll show you how I position it for the next bend. What I'm doing here is I want to line the mark up on the side of the piece that I'm going to bend over with the edge of the tubing and the form piece here. Just put a little tension on the clamps, you don't need much. Just going to fine tune it with the dead blow and the clamps, get it where I want it. Tighten the clamp in the right direction would help. Now, it would have helped if I'd done the second bend first, but with what I've got, I really couldn't. It's going to make doing this bend harder. I'm going to have to go in with a different hammer and hit the edge over. It's going to be more complicated. Just going to throw the clamps on. I'll get them all tightened up and in position once I have everything where I want it. If you're not doing this step on a shop chair, it's probably going to be a little easier. Reposition things as you need to. And I'm going to double check the edge. Now it's time to start bending. I'm going to try to get you a couple different angles. I'm likely going to have to come in here with this and try to start the bend. This is not the smartest way to do it, but it should work. Okay, like I said, should work. Try something different. Come up with a different approach. A little trial and error later, I figured out that I can use these welding clamps to start bending it down. Once I get it to start moving, I can even it all out with a hammer. Unfortunately, this means I'm going to have a lot of things to adjust. Thankfully, no one is going to know about this except me and you. Woo. I'll have to fix this edge, but now I should be able to start pounding this down with a hammer, which will help. It's actually fairly consistent. I'm happy and surprised. Well, I'm going to fix this lip now, since I ruined a perfectly good lip on it. Unfortunately, the way I did this, I ended up missing the mark of where I wanted to start the bend, so this is going to be a little taller. Shouldn't affect too much, but we'll see. I'll pull this out, we'll fit it in the car and see how it looks. It's going to be easier to show you here than trying to show you in the car, but this bend is about 3/16 too deep, as you can see from the old junk I cut off. Figure out if I can massage this and keep it, or if I have to make another part. I tried a little sticky technique on the other side. It worked for the most part. I stuck a 1/4-inch piece of plate down in here, which spaced this out. I'm going to slowly bend this lip down, give me the space I need. I might only have to do this on either end, so I can just adjust it to the metal, because it's never going to look perfect anyway. I hate doing it. It shouldn't affect the structural nature, and that's the biggest thing I care about right now. So, let's see how this goes. I've got both ends massaged. They should fit well, but doing that gave me a hump through the middle. So I'm going to see what I can do to pound it down against this piece of T-beam. And there it is, one basically flat and as even as I can get it with the tools I've got on hand. Peace. I don't have any tears in the material from all the goofy stuff I had to do to it. Overall, I'm pleased with it. It didn't go as smoothly as I wanted it to, and it definitely is rougher looking than I wanted it to be. But it's going to be on the very bottom of the car, and if someone sees that, probably got more things to worry about than the rockers. Yep, with some tweaking, I think that's going to work out just fine. Let's see what this thing looks like. It's like you'd never know I put a panel in there, except for all the hammer marks and odd bends. I'm going to start fitting this corner. Once I got this one all set, I'll do the front one as well. And keep moving. You might have noticed that there is a giant gap here. This bottom plate was not connecting. I need to leave this piece here because it has a big backer plate for that seat belt bolt, but I've got to fix it. I've got this surface as conditioned and prepped for welding as I'm going to get, and I don't want to be crazy, but I found another rivet head I have to knock out, or I should say rivet stem. Hooah! These things do come in handy. Yeah, I got that all cleaned out, and all it took was destroying my wind Dremel tool flexible drive unit, spitting 90% of the wires out of this and into my sweater, which you won't be seeing me wearing again, destroying my last sanding disc, and removing all the flaps off this little flap wheel. Good times. Time to restock. Let's go ahead and start getting this first piece tacked in. I didn't know what that was. I think I am out of gas. It was a hell of a busy day. I was able to get a fresh bottle of gas, so let's get back to welding those rockers in. It'd help if I plugged the compressor line into the compressor. The first round of plug welding is done. I've got the sides tacked together as well. I'm going to do a small amount of grinding. Then there's some stuff at the bottom I'm going to have to press together, fit, and tack, but that stuff can come along as I'm getting ready to put the upright or the vertical support in. Still, my welding skills need improvement. It probably would have helped if I'd started to try to learn again, you know, not in every worst conceivable possible position. What am I doing? Got the outer lip edge on the lower rocker piece here welded together. I'll clean it up a bit. I'm gonna try to weld this lip, this flat piece, and a new form piece. It's just not taken. So worst case is gonna get seam sealed in here just to keep the dirt out of it. I can't form it over enough. I was hoping to be a little closer, but it's not. Structure's gonna be there, just isn't gonna look super pretty. But none of the rest of the car does, so I'm in good company. I needed some copper parts to try to make backers those little holes, so I stopped at Lowe's after I hit Harbor Freight, and we'll see how these work. I think this will be good with a floor jack to push up against it, and I think I can shape this into the whatever areas I need. We'll find out. I've got the floor jack underneath the car. The cup is up against one of the little through holes. Let's see how it works. Hopefully this little hole is the first of many to be filled with the weld. If not, I will be getting panel bond. which I'm likely going to get for this joint underneath here anyway. I'm going to go release the jack and see where we're at. The first one worked out quite well. I'm very happy. I'm not going to count my chickens before they're hatched, or my gooses before they're gandered, or my mooses before they're meesed. It didn't make any sense to me either, but I got a lot of free time. I highly doubt that it worked. We'll see. This is the first little plug. It did quite well. And pull this down and see if we did anything with the next one. Kind of thinking it missed the mark, but we will see. Yep, missed the mark. This little hole is too close to the patch panel, and with that section, I just cannot get the gun in there to angle it the right area for the nozzle to make contact. See what I can do to flatten this thing out, give me a couple different areas so I can use this to push up into the welds and a couple spots that need help. We'll see how this works. Showing me a couple different material sizes and shapes to hopefully get in spots. Just ignore the price tag. I'm not gonna even bother. I'm gonna use this hand-formed piece of copper to push up into this area and allow me to put weld into those areas that are missing weld right here. If I don't drop the piece underneath the car. Thanks for watching the 18th episode of the Chambler Wheel Series. Can't thank you guys enough for continuing to watch stuff. Love your feedback. Let me know what you want to see, what you don't want to see. I'm going to start doing some shorts here and there on the Chambler, try to give you guys a better idea of overall the condition of the car, where it is, where it's going. There'll also be shorts like skinning that Comanche tailgate. I'm going to go ahead and use that as a nice place to put all the stickers from my YouTube buddies. So I think that'll be fun. There'll be a video coming out on that soon. There's already 2 shorts on cutting it and hanging it. Like, share, subscribe. Thanks everybody for watching. See you again next time.